Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold comic review. This time something from Ryan Michael Bendis, Checkmate, issue 6 of 6. Well, the bird got around care of some channels that I watch, saying that this last issue was a pretty decent issue. I wasn't too sure what to think of it for myself, but let's see how things go for it in the Fool's Gold comic review. Was this as enjoyable as people said? Let's find out. Now, to those who are new to the Fool's Gold, the things that I do is I rate the cover, the art, and the story. Of course, they're done out of 10, like 1 to 10 out of 10. But on top of that, because this involves currency conversion, as you can see here, this is how much I paid for it. As you can see right there, $3.99. And because I pay $3.99, or because I pay $7.15 here in Australian dollars, I give an indication of how much I think the story is worth, and the worth or the value, or how much I believe the cover is worth, the art is worth, as well as the story. So let's see how Brian Michael Bendis went with this particular issue. And as you know, with this week's haul, there was another Brian Michael Bendis title. Of course, that Bendis title, being independent, will not be reviewed under Fool's Gold, but it will be reviewed as a normal independent comic, which its review will probably be shown after this one. So, moving into first things first. Does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to anything that is happening inside of the story? Surprisingly, not all that much. To which I gave the cover a rating of 6 out of 10. To which I believe it is worth $1.25. Now that $1.25 goes towards the artist total. I'll now jump into showing you some of the art around the beginning, middle and end, to which I'll be able to address a couple of little things, including some of the characters that we get to see. Now this is some of the art around the beginning, to which we see Manhunter, and it looks like Lois Lane there, who are going up against an opponent. I'll now jump towards the middle, and as you can see here, this takes place in the Irwin Airfield, which is a private airfield in Metropolis, and we've got the character of Mark Shaw returning. We of course got Damon Rose and Lois Lane. And last but not least, let's go towards the end. As towards the end, we've got this last bit involving Talia al Ghul as she returns to being the head of Leviathan once again, which is really nice to see, as many people actually dislike the idea of what happened in the Bendis story in Event Leviathan. It's nice to see things are slowly being put back together. So, for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10, as it worked quite okay with the story, and I believe the internal art is worth about $1.50. Now, this is going to be the surprise part, the rating for the story. It's not as high as I want it to be yet, for Bendis to get out of the Fool's Gold area. he'd have to at least reach an 8.5 in the story rating before any of that happened. Now that could apply, but it would have to at least happen more than once for him to get that 8.5. So 3 at maximum, 2 at minimum. So, to those who watch the channel, there are certain things that I personally enjoy in my storytelling. Starting off with first things first. Comic references. Were there any comic references to any of the previous comics? Surprisingly, none at all, yet it would not have hurt to include it. Even if some of those comics connected to maybe Justice League that Brian Michael Bendis is working on at the moment, or even to any of his previous stories such as Event Leviathan, or even previous issues of Checkmate. We move into the area of time, because time is important, because we, the reader, need to understand when events are occurring, whether it's from the last issue or this issue. The only thing that did seem to come up was 1 week later, but that was towards the end of the book. Now, moving into the locations, which is another thing of importance, we had the Hall of Justice basement. We had the area of Markovia, as it looks like Markovia has regained its title back. We, of course, had Metropolis and the Private Irwin Airfield. The cast of characters consisting of Bones, Talia, Guardian, Green Arrow, The Question, Manhunter, Lois Lane, Damon Rose, Superman, Damian Wayne, Robin, Kamandi, and last but not least, Amanda Waller. For this, I gave the story, and even though it is towards the end, it did actually give it a very nice ending. I gave this story a 6.5 out of 10, to which I believe the story is worth $1.40, giving an overall total of $4.15. So, Bendis is slowly on his way, along with the artist, in making up the rest of the $7.15 in this present run. It's still not as high as it needs to be. But this story, we'll see how Bendis goes with his next upcoming Justice League stories. And I think it's time to get rid of Naomi out of Justice League, to be personally honest. Well, until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.